Alright, hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here is the second video. Now we are going to be talking about the basic things that you need to know about medical science again. Now, in medical science, anatomy is very important across every medical science term generally. So let's see that. You need to know about anatomical position, anatomical terms, anatomy of related terms, anatomy plane, anatomy of laterality, anatomy of movement. There's many things you need to know. Now, let's come there. Now, when you say anatomical position, here is anatomical position. As I'm starting like this is what we call anatomical position. Somebody is standing an upright position with the face facing forward and the palm facing forward and the hand closer to the media to the body, and the ulnar is also media to the body in that manner. Then the feet are close and parallel. You see that the feet is what close and parallel. Now, so that this is what we have now. Saying now anatomical position. So when somebody standing in anatomical position, this is how they stand. Their face is facing anteriorly. Their palm is facing anteriorly. Their leg is close. You see that. That's what they call anatomical position. All right. So after anatomical position, let's be marking it. We are done anatomical position. We are going for anatomical terms. So when you say anatomical terms, what is the meaning of anterior? Anterior means at the front. You see that it's structured in the front of something, front of a structure. That's what they call anterior. Posterior at the back of a structure. That's what they call posterior. Now when you say lateral, now lateral is moving away from the median plane. Now let's see that. So now here now, you see, let's divide this ball. So now here is what they call the word median plane. So when you see this thing, and this is the word median plane. Okay, the blue line is the median plane. So now when you say lateral, lateral is moving away from the median plane. It's moving away from the middle. That's the meaning of lateral. Lateral is only moving away from the middle. Median plane is at the middle. It divides structure into two equal halves. That's what they call median. When you say median, something is in the middle. When you say media, something is closer to the middle. That's what they call media. When something is closer to the middle, they say, well, it's media. When something is superior, superior is at the top. You see that? It's at the top. Something is going towards the top. Cranial is also, now, cranial and superior is kind of the anatomy of related types. Because when you say cranial, cranial is also mean that something is going towards the vertex. It's going towards the head portion of something. That's what the cranial. So the two of them are related together. That's why I painted them with the same marker. Inferior is going towards downward of a structure. It's going towards the down surface of a structure. Now, cauda is also going towards the bottom of something. You see that? So inferior is going towards the ground surface or the down surface of something, while cauda is going towards cauda is used as most of the time tail is going towards the tail portion of something. And when you say proxima is closer to the point of attachment. When you say distal is away from the point of attachment. That is what we have about the normal anatomical term, the basic one you need to know. So now let's go to anatomical planes. So now when they say anatomical planes now, so what do we have as anatomical planes? Anatomical planes are imaginary planes that divide or intersect anatomical position. Now I'm standing in anatomical position now. Anything that intersects me in my anatomical position, that's what we call anatomical plane. There are four basic anatomical planes that you need to know. So now let me tell you about them, and I'm going to make an illustration to tap. You can master it by trapping that information in your brain. As a medical student now, when you want to cook, you want to do anything, and you can use anatomical terms. You can apply it in your daily life. I will show you how to do that. Just wait and be curious about that. Number one, you say median plane. You see that median plane simply means that a plane that divides something into two equal halves. You see that? That's what they call median plane. So now when you say median plane, you see, a median plane will go like this in my body. You see that? That's what they call median. I'm going to illustrate that for you in a moment. I'm coming. Now when you say sagittal plane is also dividing something into right and left. You see that? And when you say sagittal plane, it cuts something into right and left. That's what they call sagittal plane. And the next one is coronal plane. Coronal divides something into anterior and posterior. Don't forget, anterior is front, posterior is back. So whatever section in anatomy that you take, or a plane that you take in anatomy that divides something into front and back, that is anterior and posterior. That's what they call medial, coronal or frontal plane. What of transverse plane? Transverse plane cuts something into up and down. That is superior and inferior. Do you see that? So whatever cuts something into superior and inferior, they call it what? Transverse plane. So now give me those things. Let me do a quick illustration over there. So now when we have, now I'm having an orange in my hand now. So what do I do with the orange? I want to call this orange, what section, that is the median plane. I'll cut this orange into two. You see that? So now if I cut this orange into two like this, you see that? Here now I've divided this orange into two equal halves, right and left. This is what a median cut of an orange. You see that? I can trap this anatomy this on my head. Alright, let's have another orange. You see that? Alright, so now we have the second one is sagittal. You see now, that one cut into two equal halves, but this one will not cut into two equal halves. You see that? Here, it's my median plane, my sagittal right now. So now here I'm having sagittal now. I'm cutting the oil into what? Into two again, right and left. But it is not in median. They call it paramedian plane because it does not cut the thing into two equal half, but it cuts it into right and left. So anything that divides the structure into right and left too is also a sagittal. It's also a median. But median, the difference between median and sagittal now, median cuts into two equal half. Sagittal also cut into right and left, but not into two equal half. Let's have another orange. Next one, coronal plane. So now let's see how do we cut coronal plane now. Coronal plane, I'm cut it like this. See that? Cut it like this. Alright, so now here now we have the front, we have the back. This is a what? A coronal plane orange. We have put this orange in a coronal plane. You see that? Alright, next one, let's have the last one on the transverse plane. Okay? So now the transverse plane now, how do we cut that? We cut that into up and down. It has a superior and what? Inferior. Here's the transverse cut of an orange. So when you want to go to, you want to go to the supermarket, you want to cut your orange and say, cut the orange for me in transverse, in sagittal. You see that makes sense. So when you want to cut onions, like medical student, you are cooking that how to cut onions. You cut it in first sagittal, you cut it in what? Transverse, you cut it in what? Coronal. Alright, that's how to do that. Thank you for that. So let's move on. So now we have anatomy of related times. So now anatomy of related times or combined times. You see that? We call this guy combined times. We can combine two anatomical terms together. So these things that you are seeing on the board now, all these positions on the board, they are anatomical of combined related times. Combined related times are used to describe positional arrangement of an object in anatomy. Now, this see the position of this four ball. Now, what is the position of this ball or this bar, this particular black ball? I will use two combined anatomic times to describe it. This is a superior ball. See that? Superior. Okay, this ball is superior, meaning it is away from the middle and it is up. This is that is what superior. It is used for positional arrangement of something. So if a medical person is placing something in a particular place, they can describe it for you that when you get a particular check, is it superior? When you enter my office, on my table, check the superior lateral surface. You imagine that when you get to that table now, you won't check the middle of the table, you check the part that is going away and is going toward the top. Alright, so now when we have this green ball will be labeled as what? Superior media. You see that? Superior media ball. That's what we have here. This is a superior media ball. It's closer to the middle and it's what? It's at the top. Alright, same thing over here. What we have now, the red ball is what? We call the red ball inferior what? Inferior media ball. You see that? Inferior media ball. Positional arrangement. And the last one we are going to see now, we are going to see inferior lateral. Inferior what? Lateral. Class, I know you are getting what I'm saying. So with this now, we know how they do positional arrangement of anatomical position and how it is related and it is define a positional arrangement of something. So now let's see anatomical terms of laterality. Don't forget, lateral is moving away from the middle. You see that? It is not closer to the middle, it's moving away from the middle. So now when they say bilateral is a structure in the body that occurs in both right and left. You see that? It occurs on right and left part of the body. Example of bilateral organ is kidney. You see that? Kidney is the bilateral organ. So now, when an organ occurs in both right and left, is bilateral and it's moving away from the middle. No, kidney is not closer to the middle. Same thing for the unilateral now, it occurs in those only is on one side of the body. So example of the unilateral organ now, we have spleen. Spleen is a unilateral organ, at the back of the stomach there about. The ipsilateral simply means something is occurring at the same side of the body. You see that? It's not occurring at the same side of the body. That's what we call ipsilateral. Like my right hand and my right leg, they are occurring at the same side of the body and not closer to the middle. That is ipsilateral. Now, contralateral, they are not. It is opposite to each other. It is not occurring on the same side of the body. So when you say contralateral, it is opposite to each other. They are not occurring on the same side of the body. You take note of that, like right hand and the left leg. That's what we have. So now let's see the anatomical movement that you need to know. Now, the first one is flexion. When they say flexion simply means you are decreasing the angle of an object. Like this is the flexion of my hand. You see that? This is flexion. This is extension. Extension means straightening. Flexion means what? You see that? Bending. Another, how to catch that? Flexion, bending, extension, straightening. Flexion decreases angle between a bone. Extension increases the angle between a bone. And when you say abduction, abduction is moving away from the midline. You see that? This is abduction of the hand. Abduction. You see that? The adduction is moving closer to the middle. You see that? So that abduction is moving away from the midline, adduction is moving closer to the midline. Now it's a circumduction. Circumduction now covers for both the four that I've mentioned earlier. Now, circumduction is a kind of rotational movement that involves flexion, abduction, extension, and adduction. So now let me make an example for you now. Here is circumduction. You see that? This is what we call circumduction. You see that? That's what we call circumduction. Now, supination. Now, supination is very, very interesting. We want to know about that. When we say supination, you see that? What do we call it? The ulnar bone is medial to the body that time. And you can imagine that supination is when you want to taste soup whenever you are cooking. When you want to taste soup, you put the soup like that. So now when you taste the soup, that's what supination. Now, pronation is the opposite. You return the soup back. While the soup is not done, you want just to know the taste. That is what we call as pronation. The second one is opposition. So now, when they say opposition is when the thumb moves. The thumb itself, this is our thumb. It moves in opposite to the. It moves to the opposite of the other part of the digits. So now, when they say opposition movement, an example of opposition movement is buttoning a shirt. So now, when you want to button your shirt, or when your wife wants to button for you in the morning, that's opposition. The second one that I will give you example, like give me the cup over the cup. All right. So now, this is that if you are holding a cup of a tea, see that is an opposition movement. Are we together? Your thumb has to come closer. The part of your thumb has to come closer to the part of the other digit. This is our opposition. So when you take a cup of a tea, is what? Oppositional movement in anatomy. And when you button your things, are what? Oppositional movement in anatomy. Okay, thank you for that. Then we have the position. The position is when your thumb go back to its anatomical position. You see that after you dress finish in the morning, when your body was, they say, okay, let me see, very, very simple. How am I looking? You're looking good. You are in the positional manner. The last 2, 3 that is the meaning now. We have elevation. Elevation is movement superiorly. This is elevation of your shoulder. You see that? Then depression is what? Bringing inferior. Now, rotational movement is a kind of movement by which the air is rotated in a longitudinal axis. See now, here's rotational movement. Alright, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and always share with your family and friends. Then come and learn about systematic teaching of sciences in my YouTube channel.